Welcome to this week's episode of FYI. I'm your host, Doreen Barnes. In the studio with me from the Brockville Museum, I'm talking with Community Program Coordinator, who happens to be Alice McMurtry. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Doreen.
Please tell us about the temporary exhibit at the museum.
Well, it's very exciting for us. It's an exhibit on 20th century women artists in Brockville.
Ooh. Yeah. So who would be included in that group?
Well, one of our favorite artists is Prudence Heward. And we have one of her works on loan to us. And for those of you who don't know, Prudence Heward, she was born in Montreal, but had a summer cottage out in Fernbank near Brockville.
Yes.
And she would go out with her friend A.Y. Jackson of the Group of Seven. And together they would go on what they call painting picnics. So they would kind of go around the Thousand Islands region and painted what they saw. And so she's a great modern artist, was very well recognized in her day.
Yes, yes.
So you can come see her work. But one of the other artists that we have that we're very excited about is the work of Marjorie Winslow.
Oh.
Yeah. So Marjorie Winslow, again, was born in Montreal, but she has a bit of an interesting history because she goes to Kingston and she studies the art of wax models of different parts of the body.
Okay.
And she works with Dr. Robertson, who is an obstetrician and a gynecologist. And she creates these wax models of the female reproductive system.
Oh my
in
heavens.
the 1940s.
Uh-huh.
So kind of incredible for that time period,
exactly.
right?
Yeah. I mean, you didn't even mention, let alone
exactly,
create.
Exactly. And so the thing is that all of her work ended up at the Kingston Museum of Healthcare, but it was anonymous for a time. And sort of towards, I believe it was the late 80s, early 90s, someone interviewed Marjorie Winslow and she was like, yes, I'm the artist behind all of these models in your collection. And so we're very fortunate because we were able to get a couple of the pieces from the Kingston Museum of Healthcare on loan to us. So if you've ever wanted to see an ovarian cyst up close and personal, you can come down to the museum.
Yeah.
This is the time.
Oh, wow. Yes, this sounds so exciting.
Yeah.
So how long will this temporary exhibit run?
It should run until the end of November, I believe.
Okay, so I have a couple of months to get my little self down there.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us now about the permanent exhibit.
So we're always updating our permanent exhibits.
Yes.
One of the most recent updates is with the People of Brockville exhibit. So we've added some more interesting figures, tried to be a bit more diverse as well in who we talk about. One of my personal favorite stories is the story of Eliza Jones, the pioneering dairy woman, right?
I like her, yeah.
So we've got her book out on display and things like that. So come down and see it. It's just a really nice refresh to the exhit.
Well, it's so interesting. I mean that happened, and then she was here in Brockville.
Yeah.
So, and there again, a woman before her time, you know?
Absolutely, right.
So why not?
Yeah.
So do you also have things on like the tunnel, the railway and of that nature? Yes?
Yes, we do. So we've got a whole exhibit called River Stories where we look at, again, sort of what goes on the river and sort of, the development of Brockville over time. How we go from this really industrial space, at least in the waterfront, to somewhere where people go to play and, enjoy themselves out by the St. Lawrence River.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's amazing though to go back and see the property today and then try and visualize what it would have been like when they were actually using the shoreline.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Let's talk about History Talks.
Of course, yeah.
Wow, April. When in April?
It's Thursday, April 10th at 2 p.m. And if you do want to reserve your seat, you can call the front desk and they will take a reservation for you.
Okay.
You do have to pay when you reserve, though. So Now, what we're doing in April, it's kind of fun. I just thought, let's throw together something fun. It's the history of Brockville bands and dance halls, because we had a lot of them in Brockville.
Yes, that's what I understand, but I never knew where they all were.
Yep, and there's lots in the downtown area, but a couple out in St. Lawrence Park, for example. But what's kind of fascinating is we had a lot of local big bands during the 1930s and 1940s. And I'm such a fan of that type of music. So it's fun to talk about and fun to imagine what it would have been like back in the 30s and 40s dancing the night away, really.
And I mean, actually, that's when Brockville was booming, that's not today, but I mean, more so back then when they had the big dances and
absolutely.
Yes, all of that.
A different type of social life back then, right?
You're right. Yes. Yeah. It was indeed. So you said people can register for this because seating is limited, is it not?
Yes. So we present in a smaller space in the museum. So capacity is limited to 28 people. So get your tickets early.
Yes. There's something new that's coming up.
Yes.
Well, it is. I mean, there have been in the past, but not like this.
No.
So we're talking about the community walks.
Yes, we are.
When is it happening?
So they're happening the last Saturday of every month, starting next month in April.
Okay.
So the first one is going to be on April 26th.
All right.
Yeah.
And what is it going to be about?
It is called The Hidden Histories of Blockhouse Island. So
there is a lot there, and I think people would be amazed at what the property down there was used for and what actually happened there.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
and just sort of that history, because a lot of people will come to me on, I work with like the cruise ships and things like that, and they'll say, I never knew this was an island. And it was. And so I will trace that history all the way back to when we did actually have a blockhouse on Blockhouse Island and how it got its name. And just sort of that development over time. And now it's such a beautiful space for people to use and to enjoy the great outdoors in Brockville. So tracing a bit of that history through that walk.
Yes. So the next walk after that, because there's three, right?
There's three
walks. Okay, so the second one is?
There's actually two other walks. So there's going to be Exploring the Brock Trail, which sort of looks at the industrial past of Brockville and the history of the railroad, that type of thing. But again, these tours are designed for locals, but for tourists alike who maybe have, maybe you've walked the Brock Trail hundreds of times and you just want to know a little bit more about what's sort of just underneath the surface.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. We know it's there. We know we've walked it before, but we don't know what was happening years ago. So you got to bring a light to what was there. So the last one will be what, in late August?
So actually, the cool thing about all of these walks is that we're running them once a month until the end of November.
Oh, good.
So there's a lot of opportunity. So it's going to be a rotating schedule. So that will be on our website so people can sign up. And signups are open now. So if you know well in advance you want to attend a particular walk, you can absolutely do that.
Well, what's good about that too is that if you're having people that are visiting, take them on the walk.
Take them on the walk.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't have to explain everything to them. No, we'll let you do that.
I'll do that for you. And the third walk is going to be kind of fun as well. It's called Stories from the East End, and looking at some of the movers and shakers who lived down in that area, but also some of the interesting stories about like St. Albans School for Boys, the Fulfords, that type of thing. So again, if you're familiar with that neighborhood, or even if you're not familiar with it, it's a good way to sort of get more in tune with Brockville's history as well.
That I think will be very fascinating. Okay, so how do people sign up?
So there's two ways you can go about it. So you can do an in-person registration. So that's when you can actually go when we're open during opening hours and register with our visitor services attendants at the front desk.
Yes.
or you can go online. We have an online registration form that you can use, but then we will follow up with you for payment.
Oh, right,
Because we
exactly.
don't have an online payment system at the museum.
Okay.
But it gives you sort of the option to include, how many guests you're bringing, for example. And then afterwards, I will send out, once you've registered, I will send you a confirmation email letting you know the meeting locations and all that good stuff.
Yes.
So,
yes. Can people also call if they want to?
So we're actually letting folks just do the in-person or online.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just wanted to make sure so that people have the information and they know what they have to do to sign up for these walks.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be exciting. It really will. And I hope you have good weather too.
I hope so too, but walks do run rain or shine.
Oh, okay.
So that's a good thing.
Yes.
So my recommendation is dress for the weather, bring sturdy shoes. We're going to be walking quite a bit. I always travel with my hiking shoes or my trusty Blundstones. So pick something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Something that you're going to be comfortable in.
Yes.
And if so, bring an umbrella or rain jacket, whatever.
Whatever you got to do.
Whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
Thank you for sitting down with me.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.